The rich are continuing to grow rich, and the poor are continuing to grow poor.
When you look at the health sector, the cost of health is so high, cost of education is so high.
Prices of vitu zime hike.
I will agree that the economy is bad, but I won't agree with the fact that people say, oh, there are no jobs and no everything. I feel like there's so many things guys can do. There's so many jobs you can create by yourself. And that's why most of the time when I sit to have conversations with people, I usually talk and say, let us do courses that are hands-on, things like fashion design, cookery, and everything else. Yes, you might say we live in a system where kama ni job ni kujuana, but again, remember you have brains. You can still work out something.
When I was young, my parents could tell me about saving, but not often because we interacted mostly on matters education. You know, it's very hard for an African kid to be educated about money. We are not taught about money at an early age.
When you look at the African setup, a child is not supposed to be introduced to money at a younger age because the African culture thinks that when a child is introduced to money, maybe it will interfere with the behavior of the child. Maybe the child can become a thief in quotes.
It's not something that is widely communicated in a home. It's something that is sensitive.
Mimi nadhani watu wamesota juu pia kuna pia pressure pale, effects za social media. Unapoingia pale kwa social media unapata msanii labda amepost ana travel, pia unataka utravel, na kwa mfuko wako like hiyo iko kwa budget yako. Sasa hizo tu pia pressure zinafanya wase wanasota.
I think up to now, people are not spending their money wisely. That is the young generation. Because when you look at the world today, the youths are people who like to socialize. And when it comes to days like Friday, Saturday and Sunday, those are the days that people tend to waste a lot of money.
I don't think we're spending money well. Most of the time, ni raha, our generation, ni raha tusaile. Everything that will bring you joy, you want it, yeah? If you see something that will make you happy, so you'll go get it. And with peer pressure right now, watu wakwambia, ile, you know. Like there was a time I was telling my friend this popcorn that I just figured out in Naivas. It's bomb. And then I was telling her, you should try this out. Yako mfuko wala kitu, but because ndio nimemhype, she will go and get it. I think we don't have like, just say self-control when it comes to using money.
I started saving back in 2019. So let's say 2 or 3 years. But before that, you get the money and spend all of it.
The main reason as to why I started saving money was due to lack of security. You want to have money so that in the event of trouble, you'll be able to solve those problems that are upcoming. So the reason as to why I decided I want to be saving money more is to counter the effects that were created from not having money.
Nimekuwa mtu mzima, nimekuwa 18 years. So lazima tu nijue vile naweza jitegemea huku kwa hizi mitaa, anything can happen, elewa. You can undergo many different vagaries, and so when some vagaries come on your way, inabidi hizo savings kuja zikusaidie, ama pia unaweza save juu uko na goal ya achieve kitu fulani.
Niko na project, kuna kitu biashara nataka kuanzisha, so that's why nimekuwa piga saving kidogo hivi za pesa.
You save money because you don't know what to expect in the future. So you save for the rainy days.
For emergencies. Because utafika ile place where you need some money and people around you, maybe they won't be able to give it to you, or you don't have any other source of it. So yeah, to save is important.
And the idea about saving was my parents. They instilled this behavior in me while I was a kid. Kuna mkebe ilikuwa inaitwa tausi. While I was in class 5, mamangu alinipea mkebe akaniambia, nataka uchange hii pesa. By the time utafika class 8, I will take you to a trip kisha pita KCPE. Na tutatumia hizi pesa zako. that thing like ilifanya nilikuwa na ile haja ya kusave kabisa. Ikakuwa nikipata pesa kidogo na hakuna haja nitumie hii pesa, na tupo kwa ile mkebe, na ile mkebe iwezi funguliwa mpaka hiyo kitu ipeleke kwa bank ndio wako na kufungua hiyo mkebe.
So the idea of saving money started when we were so young. We used to have small metal boxes. We used to call them karimo. We knew the only way to save money was having these metallic tin boxes where we used to keep, if you're lucky enough, you'll keep notes. But for us, we used to keep coins, 10 shillings, 20 shillings, 40 shillings.
Saving is part of my life. My biological dad was an accountant, and you know, living with an accountant is a thing, and it was so critical on how he spent money, or rather you spent money. So my dad would even account for a shilling, like, and he would always write everything he bought. So he had a special book, we used to call it the judgment book. So he would write number 1 today, he writes the date, he's bought a sweetie which is 5 bob twisty shilingi tano. So you know, with that you come to learn that, you know, money is a critical thing, and I look at it like to some point it has added some value to me. I'm coming to learn why it was like that.
Uko home, mama yangu atakangi mtu ana misuse pesa. So ukianza kumwambia umesota, ataanza kukuambia you should start budgeting. Zile pesa uko nazo unaanza kujibudget, unatumia vizuri, and then zenye zinabaki anasema that as a man ufai kuwa huna 200 at least kwa mfuko yenye hutumii.
I've been saving since I read a certain book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and another one called Second Chance by Robert Kiyosaki. That book is very powerful. It speaks to you immediately. You know, everything starts by setting the small goals. After I achieve the small goals, then the higher goals can come later in life. Saving is a good thing because it will help me plan for the future. You know, the future demands a lot from us because I'm a young man and I understand if I'm not prepared for the future, then things will not work. So I decided that every single penny I get, at least there's a certain percentage that I will save.
I believe saving is very important for a build-up of the kind of life I want to live.
I've been careless with my spending. You can go in town, see a good thing, you can meet even a good girl, she smiles at you and you take her out. It was not your intention, but at the end of the day, you spend carelessly.
Nimaitumia pesa vibaya. Unaweza kuwa tu umetoka tu hivi kwa nyumba, umesema acha niende nyanya pale nje. Ukishafika pale nje wakutana ule beshte yako Jonte. Nakwambia buda kuna form. Ukishafika ile place ya form, unapata kumbe ilikuwa mchange. Sasa inabidi mchange ile pesa ili muweze kujienjoy, unaelewa? Sasa mkishachanga hizo pesa ili mjienjoy, unapata ushaiguza fuliza juu kitu iko kwa plan yako. Na pia ushaumiza vitu zingine hapo. Unapata budget yako yenye ilikuwa ya kununua nyanya 10 bob, umetumia 2000. Na kuna place onanga hii pesa walai nilitumia vizuri. Alafu sometimes pia unaanza kuona this was a mistake.
I have spent money terribly. The event that sometimes you feel like you need validity in your life, or you've seen a flashy kind of shoe. I'm addicted to buying shoes. So sometimes when I'm just walking, I buy on impulse. And this has really contributed to a lot of negativity.
I'd rather call it impulse buying. Yes, I do mostly, and that has been a weakness for me for a very long time. I'm one person who loves myself, and when I have money, me ujifurahisha na pesa. So, but I'm usually keen to make sure that I've already provided for the things that I call priorities, and that comes to my rent. I make sure I have food. I make sure I am done with all other bills. So when I come to spending money, I spend it nikijua nimesha sort vitu yenye ni important.
Ukitumia pesa bila mpango, kuna kitu mahali itakuwa itafinyika. Kuna kitu mahali itahitaji pesa upate hauna do. What should I do with my money? Kuna time niko na pesa lakini sijui naifanyia nini. Kutoka hapo unasonga kidogo unapata jezi. Uko na jezi ya United ndani kwa nyumba lakini bado una feel acha tena ninunue tena nyingine. Nafanyia nini?
Lately I've been spending money in a bad way. I don't know why. It's probably the people around me. They think I picked it up, but it's something I have to work on.
Vitu kazi zikisha kufanikia inakuanga learning experience. Don't take it as a sentence. I see it as an experience. Kitu ambayo na learn something.
You need to have a plan for your money, because without one, you might spend without even knowing you spend the money on what and what. So you'll end up wasting a lot of the income that you're earning. Unajua maneno ya sherehe. Back then we were sherehe guys. End month tulikuwa tunajua tu ni kupiga sherehe vizuri sana. If you don't save right now, I tend to believe you will face a lot of troubles in the future.
The problem of not saving or living paycheck to paycheck is that employment is never permanent. Today you have a job, the next day you don't have a job. My father was working in Kenya Railways, and then all of a sudden his job came at a standstill, and he started to think, now how will I survive? I've not saved enough money. I was just getting salary, pay for my kids' school fees. The remaining amount of money I can do other things. He was not saving, but he learned that employment can come to an end.
Saving, you start little. If you cannot save from the 1,000 that you have, you will not save for the 50,000. So it's something that you start with the little that you have.
How much money am I going to allocate to different sets of needs? How much money, for example, if I'm into creativity, or if I'm into bungee jumping, or if I'm into hiking, then I'll know that this amount of money will be used for traveling, this amount of money will be used to facilitate my education, and this amount of money will be used to pay my bills. So I think budgeting is important so that you can approach money in an objective way.
You know, one thing people do not know is that these little steps matter. The small things that you do are the ones that will make you great. If I save slowly by slowly, with the time, I have a lot of money.
Saving, you can save from the little amount of money you have. For example, as a parent, I normally teach my children that if I give you 20 bob, you have to save even if it means 1 bob. I want to see that tomorrow you are buying something from the 20 bob I gave you today.
There's what we call saving and investing. What next after saving? You save, then you invest.
You know you won't earn much by saving. So if you save, you need to save and invest. Those are two different things. Saving, if I put my 10 bob there, at the end of the year it will be 10 bob. But if you save and you invest it, if it's 10 bob, at the end of the year I might get 15.
We don't get taught these in school or anywhere else. It's the school of life. No one introduces you to it until, you know, most people just come to get introduced to probably spending and everything else and budgeting when they are much older.
Let them just be open-minded with telling children about money. As in, isikwe ukitajwa ni kitu inaogopesha ama ni kitu sensitive, ikuwe kitu like a normal conversation. If you don't have money, you say, hey, leo hivi na hivi pesa fulani haijafika. You know, it's then you just say like, no, I don't have money today, ama hapana, hakuna. You know, like, don't cut the conversation short. Hiyo ni kitambo. Generation yetu, we should do something about that when we have babies. Be open-minded about finances, educate them early enough so that in future they know how to deal with money.
Tunafaa kujua saizi nikiwa shule ni nini naweza fanya saa hii ndio hata nikitoka shule sitakuwa na ile shida ya kutafuta pesa sana.
There's no amount of money that one needs to look and save. But again, you should be careful that you don't save to an extent that you again are suffering.
To use money wisely, have a budget and also have savings.
It's a very good thing. Hadi utagrow hapo ukijua si lazima nitumie hizi pesa juu niko nazo. Jadi kwa pesa lazima nitumie hii pesa nikipata anaweza ziweka for future use. That's saving. Nasemanga akiba yozi.
You should learn from our mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, but once you make a mistake, you should own it and try to find out the possible solutions. All these solutions are found when we look for knowledge. If I don't know how to save, if I want to better my life, I'll look for knowledge. Knowledge is everywhere. Go to Google, download the books, you can visit the National Library, go and read. You can read the newspapers, you can look for experts in a certain field. The rich are more knowledgeable, and every day they are looking for knowledge. They are not thinking about how to work for someone. They are thinking about creating opportunities. You could be complaining that I don't have money. Somewhere else in Nakuru city, person living in Milimani has a lot of money. He has an organization is funding, he has a lot of things is funding. People are so much comfortable. It's all about you to decide to get out of the comfort zone. Then everything will be okay. Then everybody can be rich. But it's very hard for everyone to be rich in this world because people have priorities, have choices.